always a rockin' good time.
Idaho CPS case, Akassja and baby Ezalea. Interview with Akassja's sister, Amerika, November 28, 2022. Akassja gave birth to Ezalea in 2019 when she was 16. In May of 2021, while Akassja was living with her older sister, Amerika, and Amerika's guardian, Wanda, a person who sometimes lived in the same house made phone calls to police, falsely reporting that Akassja was abusing Ezalea. Police and Child Protective Services officers entered the house without a warrant and seized Akassja and baby Ezalea and separated them from each other by force. Within 3 months of the initial allegations, it was determined in family court that they were unsubstantiated. Yet, the state of Idaho has kept baby Ezalea captive now for over a year and a half and is seeking to completely terminate Akassja's parental rights legally. Akassja, who wishes to maintain her rights and reunite with her daughter, is under a gag order from the Ada County Court to not discuss her situation. But Amerika was able to share some of the story to support Akassja and Ezalea.
Hi, I'm Susan Lang, and I am here with Amerika. We're talking about Akassja and Akassja's baby, Ezalea. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, thanks for coming, Amerika. Why don't you begin by telling us what your relationship is with Akassja?
I'm Akassja's older sister.
And Ezalea is your niece?
Yes.
Right? So were you involved? Were you coming around helping out? Or what was that like for you to be an aunt for the first time, I'm assuming?
Yes. I was kind of like 50-50. I'd babysit for Ezalea alone when I was living with Wanda so that Akassja could go out and have like a break with Alexis or go do something fun. Or she had like errands she needed to go run and she didn't want to bring Ezalea because she'd be like an old day thing. I'd babysit for her.
Why are you speaking with me today about Akassja and Ezalea?
Because I feel like what's happening to my sister and my niece is justice. It's wrong. It should have never happened. And it's sad. A young mother is losing her baby because of something that's not even true, something she never even did wrong. Because she's being punished for being a good mom. She's so-called an unfit parent when she was doing everything to be a fit parent. A fit parent is someone who loves and adores their children, who makes sure they have the best that they can give them all the time, but most important that they're loved and happy. And Ezalea was very much loved and happy in the home. And what really broke my heart was I think Ezalea knew she was getting taken away. She wasn't going to be with her mom. Because she'd actually, she was in the middle of, she was still learning how to walk and crawl at the time. She'd actually crawled up to me and given me a hug, and she was patting me on my back before they took her.
Since it's now known that those allegations were false, has anything happened to the person who made those false allegations?
Nope, nothing.
And yet Akassja and her daughter are still separated, and Akassja is very possibly going to lose all parental rights to her daughter. Is that correct?
Because of false accusations a person made that had no insight about what was going on.
How do you feel about this?
I'm pissed. To put it simply, I'm sorry, but I'm pissed. Because that is my niece and that's my sister. My sister is about to lose a baby for something she never even did, simply for the fact that she was young and about someone lying about stuff that wasn't even true. But yet he gets no repercussion.
Akassja is stable now. She's working. She has been promoted at her job at McDonald's. She's finishing her high school education because she didn't have the opportunity to do that before. She's doing well, you would say?
Yeah. She got a raise. She's been working with McDonald's for about a year.
Yeah, that shows stability.
She got a raise. She's getting excellent grades in school, which she has proven that she has been. And she's pretty set. And she would have been set just like she is now when she was living with us too.
So if Ezalea were returned to her tomorrow, they would have a stable, loving home to live in.
Technically they'd have two. They'd have Alexis's and they'd have Wanda's home. Wanda has always made it clear that her home was always open to her and Ezalea, and that they would be able to live there just fine.
Wow. I tried to look up family court online because I am just very interested in the courts. And I found out that family court is not listed in the Constitution of Idaho. I went to the Idaho Supreme Court page, and under something called Coordinated Family Court Services, this was the information that the Supreme Court has to say about family court. It says, quote, promoting respectful, collaborative, timely problem solving of all family court cases. Coordinated Family Court Services, FCS, has been established statewide to support Idaho courts in an effective response to parties that are divorcing, modifying child custody, and establishing parenting arrangements for their children. So that's the quote about what family court is in Idaho from the Idaho Supreme Court page. So I just wanted to talk about that for a minute. So here is Akassja, 19 years old now, is that right?
Yes.
She has not committed a crime. She is not seeking a divorce. She's not seeking, quote, modification of custody. She did not need help establishing parenting arrangements for her child. She didn't seek out any of those things, did she?
No.
And yet her child, Ezalea, she gave birth to her, she loved her, she breastfed her, she did everything she could to take care of her, and all of a sudden Akassja just ends up in this situation, and now she's in family court fighting for her own rights to her daughter.
Because they're being taken away illegally.
They're being taken away. It sure looks illegal to me as well. That's right. So this description on the Supreme Court of Idaho website says respectful, collaborative, timely problem solving of all family court cases. I don't know about you, Amerika. It doesn't look to me like this is respectful, this treatment of Ezalea and her mother. Does it look respectful?
No.
No. It doesn't look collaborative. It looks to me like something that's being done to Akassja. She didn't seek out family court. She didn't seek out help for any of this. She had
It's
help.
very much forced upon.
Yeah. This looks like a very rotten situation, just forced upon a young mother who's doing her best to do everything for her daughter.
And last time I checked, we had the rights to our own decision, but it doesn't really seem like Akassja has that.
No, Akassja's having her rights taken away. That's exactly what she's having taken away. You have been in court with her for, I think you said on three occasions? Or?
Yes.
And you've witnessed the way things have happened in court.
The last time I went to court, I actually went in to speak on her behalf. The last time I went in.
Oh, you did. Were you able to be in the court during the hearings that Akassja had?
Not until they called me up.
Okay.
Other than that, we could sit outside the whole time.
And they called you up, and what were you testifying, or what were you stating in the court?
They were asking me questions like, did Akassja change Ezalea's diaper when it's dirty? Was she wearing warm enough clothes? Or appropriate clothes according to the weather? Or was she being fed? How was she with Ezalea? How did she interact with Ezalea? How was she at night with Ezalea? Like, they didn't trust her to be with her own daughter overnight.
Okay.
And, like, of course she would change her diaper when it's dirty.
So my understanding with family court is that it's a secretive process, and that the parent defending their child's right is allowed to be in the court with their lawyer, but there are no other witnesses on their side, unless or until the moment that you're called in to testify. And then are you dismissed right after you are done testifying?
And they actually, like, escort you out.
They escort you out.
Like, halfway, I guess you could say.
Okay, but you are not allowed to be into the parts where you're not testifying. It's not open to the public. It's not even open to other interested, loving, caring family members.
But the other side got to have people in there, though.
The other side got to have people in there.
Mm-hmm.
So people from the state, CPS, and they are able to remain the entire time?
Yeah.
That sounds a little intimidating. If I were Akassja sitting in there without my people supporting me, I can see how that would be a little unfair and one-sided.
It's scary and intimidating.
Scary and intimidating.
It's like if they're wanting her to mess up
Mm-hmm.
by scaring her.
And then, as we talked about, she is also gagged, meaning that she's not allowed to speak about the proceedings when she leaves the room.
She
So
can't talk about it.
if she wanted to go home and call her best friend or her sister or her teacher who she admires and just have a shoulder to cry on, would she be allowed to do that?
Nope.
That's outrageous.
Yeah. She can't even talk about it with family.
She
That was
can't
there.
even talk about it with family.
Yeah, like, even though I was there, she can't talk about it with me, even though I was there.
So this doesn't sound to me like the courts that our Constitution established. Wow. Family court is an entirely different thing from the rest of our court system. I don't know if people realize that. This has been going on for over 2 years. And while the website claims that timely problem solving of all family court cases is the goal, that surely has not been the case here. There's been nothing timely about this. Meanwhile, Ezalea is getting older. She's growing up without her own mother in her life. Amerika, this is a tragedy for your family. I mean, this is a really big deal to have a child taken away. Would you agree?
Yes, it is. It's very upsetting.
Do you get the feeling that the people who work in that court, in this thing called family court, do you get the feeling that it's upsetting to them or a tragedy to them?
Not really, just seems like a regular day at the office work. Like, this is just a schedule, like, they don't really care to actually do what benefits Ezalea or what they think benefits Ezalea. But it just seems like what benefits Ezalea is what's benefiting them. And Ezalea's name is just thrown in it to make it look better. And to make it seem like it's for Ezalea when it's not.
Do you think your family is unique to have this happen to you?
I feel like this has happened to a lot of other people. So I can't really say whether if it's uniquely for us or they just do it how they see fit. Like, they're just targeting weak people or what they think is weak people with weak families. But it's like, our family's not weak.
Well, no, and I'm so glad to hear that Akassja has a good fighting spirit, and she is continuing this fight for her daughter, as she should.
Mm-hmm.
It seems almost like this is routine for this court. Like, this is what they do, just business as usual, just another day.
Yeah, it's kind of what it seems like.
Yeah. Well, I hope Akassja gets her baby back. We will all be rooting and praying, trying to get the word out, not just about Akassja and Ezalea and your family, but for all families that this could happen to, because I do think that this happens in Idaho and around the U.S. a lot. Do you know when is the last time Akassja and Ezalea got to live together or be together? Was that when they were taken and separated over 2 years ago?
Yeah, they haven't been able to live in the same home or have overnight visits since the night they had taken her. She can have visits like once a week on Fridays, but they also closed recently.
They ended them.
Yeah.
Wow, that just actually makes me really shook up, you guys. Cut it for a second. I just sorry. When you've seen court shows on TV, is that what family court looks like?
I mean, that looks more like court stuff than actually going there. And I've been there 3 times.
You've been there 3 times, and it doesn't look like what you would imagine court to be like on TV.
No, because they usually have people in there, whether it's support or to witness what's going on. And it's like it's that they don't want anybody to witness how the court's going from the inside.
Akassja has been wronged by the state. As I see it, she's being treated like a criminal.
Yes.
But the real crime is being done to Akassja and also to Ezalea, obviously. And part of her being treated like a criminal is that she's not even allowed to speak about the injustices that are happening to her.
Let alone even see her own baby.
Let alone even see her own baby. That is a crime. What would be the best outcome?
The best outcome would be for Akassja and Ezalea to be reunited with each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Amerika, I am so sorry this is happening to you as an aunt and to your sister and to her baby. I think this is a crime. I think this is a crime against her. I just want to thank you for speaking with us today and ask you, is there anything else you'd like to say about the situation and how it's made you feel?
it just has me very upset, the fact that Akasha's having to go through this just so she can have her own baby. And I just I really hope that this helps and that Akasha's able to get her baby back, because I know she'll be heartbroken and devastated if she loses her baby. And as her sister and an aunt, I don't want to have to see that. Because it's heartbreaking, and I'm sure anybody else would be just as devastated as she is if they had this happen to her. Like, to them. And I'm pretty sure they'd feel pretty injustice too.
I agree. Thank you.